Martha Paschke, do you have any relationship to Ed Paschke?
So we are not 100% sure, but I have been in touch with his brother and his daughter, and it was left at, we'll just assume we're related somehow.
Oh,
I married the name, and I think my husband's joining the meeting as well.
Oh, good.
And my dad does genealogy, so he did trace the two families back to where they were very close and quite likely related.
Very cool. Have you ever been to the museum in Jefferson Park?
I have not. My in-laws went to the opening. I've been there before.
It's a very cool little museum.
Yeah, I heard it just closed.
Oh, did it?
Because of, yeah. I'll have to double check on that, but I had heard it had closed.
I have one of his prints in our living room.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to wait about one more minute. I'm waiting for Michelle Wong to be on. She's going to read our scripture tonight.
There she is.
There she is. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, John.
Hey, hi, David. How are you?
I'm good.
All right, it is 7:01, and I think we should get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Edward Manning. I am a staff organizer for the Fox River Valley Initiative. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. Especially, we've got a lot of newcomers, as it were, from a couple of institutions, St. Mark's Geneva and Fox Valley Presbyterian Church. So happy that you could all make it tonight. We're very excited to work with you. So a round of applause. Very excited, very excited. Carl wanted me to mention too that we are going to record this meeting tonight so we can share it with people who are not able to make it. So just be aware we are recording this. So two things. This meeting, we want to talk a little bit about our focus tonight about where we've been and where we're going as an organization. We talk about the world as it is and the world as it should be. The world as it should be would be somebody else running this meeting, but the world as it is I'm going to run it tonight. If anybody has any objection to an organizer running the meeting rather than a leader, speak now or forever hold your peace. Thank you. I'd like to start off tonight with a reflection, and Michelle Wong is going to read that for us. Michelle?
Thank you, Ed. This evening's scripture passage is from the Wisdom of Ecclesiastes, and a familiar one that's been set to song that many of you may know, but here it is. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace.
Thank you, Michelle. I thought this was a kind of an appropriate passage. We went through a very busy time as a group in September with our candidates action. And then for a couple of months afterwards, we were very quiet. And I think both of those things were important. It was important that we act, but it was important, I think, afterwards to kind of take stock of where we've been and to kind of recharge our batteries a little bit. And we've got those batteries recharged now, and it's time to go to work. Before we go forward, does anybody have any comment about that scripture reading?
So we should say, if you have a comment, the way we do it is you raise your hand and either Ed or I will call on somebody. and you have to unmute before you start talking. So if you've got a comment or reflection, or if it meant something to you especially, just raise your hand and then unmute, and we'll call on you.
Thank you, Greg. We're going to go around now and introduce ourselves. And after we do that, I will have Amanda share our agenda. So the Reverend Stacy Walker from St. Charles Episcopal Church is going to lead our rounds. Stacy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy, Reverend Stacy from St. Charles Episcopal Church. So I'm thinking about the best way to do this because there's 31 participants.
Wow.
So I actually have the participant list pulled up. I have no idea how it rattles off. So what I'll do is I'll just call people by your name that you've identified yourself in, and then go ahead and unmute yourself. You can identify yourself by your name, your institution, and then share one word or one short sentence. Okay. One word or one short sentence to describe, let me get the wording right here from our agenda, the kind of relationship you would like to have with our newly elected Kane County officials, Jamie Moser and Corrine Purog. So I'll start, I can give you an example. My name's Reverend Stacy Walker. I'm from St. Charles Episcopal Church, and the kind of relationship I would like to have with our new Kane County officials is productive. Let me see, let me call on, the next person down is Amanda Riley Sokoli.
My name is Amanda Riley Sokoli, and I am a representative of DuPage United here and excited to be joining you this evening. And I would say in one word, I would want the relationship to be powerful.
Great. Okay, next is Greg Pierce.
So I'm Greg Pierce. I'm the supervisor of the Illinois affiliates of the Industrial Areas Foundation, and I am specifically working in both Fox River Valley Initiative and DuPage United, because as some of you know, but maybe the new people don't know, Adrienne McCauley just had a baby. She was our lead organizer for many years, and both she and the baby are doing great. And so I'm kind of temporary interim until we get this all sorted out. We've also got a couple of new organizers here. But the word that I would like to see is, I'll put a hyphen in it so it's only one word, mutually respectful.
Thanks, Greg. Jill.
I'm Jill Mosshammer. I'm from St. Charles Episcopal Church. And the word I would like is continuing to be successful.
Great. Karen Schlack.
I'm Karen Schlack. I'm from Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren. What is the word supposed to be about?
The kind of relationship you would like to have with our newly elected Kane County officials.
Understanding.
Wonderful. Thank you. Jackie Baker.
I'm Jackie Baker from Christ the Lord Lutheran Church in Elgin, and I would like to have an open relationship with our new elected officials.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Dallas.
I'm Dallas Hakenen from St. Charles Episcopal Church, and the word working together.
Thank you, Dallas. Amy Peeler.
Hi, Amy Peeler from St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Geneva. Open communication.
Thank you. Be Worst.
My name is Bill Worst. I'm with Cornerstone United Methodist Church in Elgin, and I would like to see us have a respectful relationship with our new representatives.
Thank you. Carl King.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carl King. I am a new organizer with Metro IAF, and I actually work across our 4 independent affiliates. So Fox River Valley Initiative, DuPage United, and the other 2, to keep it brief. I think the word that I would use is accelerate. like to move things forward, get some stuff done.
Wonderful. David and LB Norton. You may need to unmute yourself. I'm not sure where you are in the.
There we are. Okay. So yes, hi. We're from St. Mark's, Geneva Episcopal Church. The word that I think would be helpful is if we could just work cooperatively with each other.
Okay, thank you. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Ed Manning.
Edward Manning, staff organizer with FRVI Valley Initiative by way of St. Charles Episcopal Church. My word is long-term.
Thank you. Cheryl Gray.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Gray from Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren in Elgin, and my word is transformative.
Okay. Let's see. Jeremy Pashik.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Paschke from Fox Valley Presbyterian in Geneva. My word is mission or mission-based.
Thank you. Jackie Hartley. I don't think I called on you yet.
Hi, Jackie Hartley from Highland Avenue Church of the Brethren in Elgin. I think my word would be collaborative.
Thank you. John and/or Nancy Mead.
We're from St. Mark's Episcopal Church, and I think a word that hasn't been used but could apply is cohesive.
Sounds good. John Langle. And John, it looks like you're on mute.
John Lingle with the Highland Avenue Church in Elgin. I would use two words, respectful and collaborative.
Thank you. Kathy.
I'm Kathy Hakenin from St. Charles Episcopal, and my word is active.
Linda Moran.
Well, Kathy kind of took my word that I also would like it to be active too, ongoing and active.
And where are you from, Linda?
I'm sorry, I'm from First Congregational Church of Geneva.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. All right, Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz Rice Conboy, Fox Valley Presbyterian Church on the mission committee, also a neighbor to Carl, friend to Carl. My words would be action and results.
Thank you. Marlisle. I'm not sure how to say your name. Marlise, Marlisle?
Marlise, yes.
Marlise.
Yes. I'm really just a member of the St. Charles community, although I do work for the St. Charles Library. I'm a guest of Carl King's. And yeah, all the good words are going. I'll say uplifting.
Sound good. Martha Patchkey.
I'm Martha Paschke, also from Fox Valley Presbyterian Church in Geneva, and I would say change making.
Thank you. Milupa's iPhone.
Milupa King, I'm Carl's wife, and we're with Baker United Methodist Church, and the word for me would be wholesome.
Okay, thanks. Michelle Wong.
Michelle Wong, I'm with Fox Valley Presbyterian Church, and I would say life-changing.
Thank you. Raymond Lobbs.
Hi, I'm Ray Lobbs with Fox Valley Presbyterian Church, and my word would be cooperative.
Thank you, Raymond. Reverend Scott Hull.
I was going to say collaborative, but constructive, and maybe it's the season, but hopeful.
And where are you from, Scott?
Unitarian Universalist Church in Geneva.
Thank you. Roy and Sandy Olson.
Roy Olson from Christ the Lord Lutheran Church Partnership.
Thank you. Ryan Conboy.
I am Ryan Comboy from Fox Valley Presbyterian Church in Geneva, and I would say focused.
Thank you. S. Sechner.
Susan Seckner. I am from the First Congregational Church of Geneva, and my word would be interactive.
Yeah. V.T. Cephas.
Hi, I'm Virginia Cheapus. I'm also a staff member at the St. Charles Public Library. My church is St. Athanasios Greek Orthodox Church in Aurora, and my word would be empathetic.
Thank you. And William Cole.
Hi, I'm Bill Kale. Kale like the vegetable.
Sorry, Bill.
Nobody ever gets it. My word, I'm with the Unitarian Universalist Church in Geneva also. And my word would be fruitful.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? Because let me tell you, the participant list jumps around as much as the Hollywood squares. So I might have missed somebody.
You missed me.
Oh, Miss Laura, go ahead.
Okay. I would say transparent, and I'm from St. Charles Episcopal.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Anybody else? Okay, thank you for all your words, and thank you for your patience with me, as I'm sure I was grimacing at the screen.
Thank you, Stacy. You did a wonderful job. You know, you might be asking yourself, why are we looking for that one word about going forward with our candidates? At our September 20th action, we had 4 candidates that were running for public office in Kane County, and we got from them, all 4 of them, a commitment to meet with us within 60 days of their taking office. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit as we go forward with our agenda tonight. But first, we want to talk about where we've been. Even though we haven't met for a couple of months, we've been busy with some of our sister organizations, United Power and DuPage United, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Jackie Baker, can you let us know what happened with United Power?
Yes, on October 25th at Dominican University, we had our first hybrid live virtual action with Senate President Don Harmon. The action was hosted by DuPage United, but attended and coordinated with Lake County United, DuPage United, and Fox River Valley Initiative. There were over 500 people present online between Facebook and Zoom. And there were about 20 of us live, socially distanced and masked, to meet with the senator. The purpose or what happened was we thanked Senator Harmon for his support and for helping us get over $200 million in the Illinois state capital budget last year for affordable housing. But the money hasn't been released, and we asked him to assist us in getting these funds released so that we can use them to build affordable housing. We talked to him about our successes, 1212 Larkin and Elgin, Waukegan, North Lawndale, and back at the yards in South and West Chicago. And then we emphasized that reclaiming communities through building new homes will create good jobs, improve the schools, make streets safer, and make opportunities for families to build wealth and equity, and for them to be proud of their neighborhoods. To do this, we asked him to assist us in getting another $30 million to build the first 1,000 homes throughout North Lawndale, back of the yards, and Waukegan. In Waukegan, by the way, 20 acres of property was donated to Lake County for support of and affordable housing. We also mentioned our accomplishments with crisis intervention team training, training our law enforcement officers, and then how we increased the reimbursement rate for hospital-based CSUs, crisis stabilization units. And Holy Cross, because we got that increase, Holy Cross was able to reopen their CSU. So that was great. Our concern is that non-hospital based crisis intervention or crisis stabilization units will not be reimbursed by Medicaid, And that really decreases the availability of them, of treatment for people with mental illness. A behavioral health facility was built in Waukegan, but they can't have a CSU because they're not hospital based. So they won't be reimbursed. Also, if we had more, that could decrease another problem that was mentioned, which is residents of Kane and Lake County who are arrested and not fit to stand trial because of a mental illness are sent to Elgin Mental Hospital for treatment until they can stand trial. And if they can't stand trial, they'll be there for a year and then released into the community, often with no place to go. They're left on their own, and many repeat that same cycle over and over again. This costs $300,000 per year for each person, which comes to about, well, greater than $13 million coming out of our state Medicaid budget. And a letter was presented from the Kane County State's Attorney Joe McMahon and the DuPage County Public Defender Jeff York outlining this situation. And we asked Senator Harmon if he would look into that. Lastly, we asked Senator Harmon if he was able to, if he would be able to help us secure a public meeting with Governor Pritzker. And if he did, or if we did, if he would attend that meeting with us. So Senator Harmon, at the end of the thing, he agreed to advocate for releasing the capital budget funds. And he said that we have the best model for reclaiming communities that he's seen, and that more than $30 million would be appropriate to be released if he can do it. He agreed that the mental health needs have to be addressed, and he'll work with us to increase the reimbursement rate so that more CSUs can be available. He wasn't able to promise a meeting with the governor, but Senator Harmon said that he would attend it if he can help and we get that meeting with Governor Pritzker. Senator Harmon said that he hopes that this pandemic, this just crazy time that we've had, has brought broad-based realization among policymakers as to the fundamental injustice embedded in all of our systems, which affects our most vulnerable populations. And this is a quote from him at the end. I hope that this is our chance to rebuild our society in a way that is much more fair and just and good at its heart. Let's stick together and let's find a way to make something great to come out of this incredible challenge. It was a good day.
All right.
Thank you very much, Jackie. My Zoom master has reminded me that we have not posted our agenda or voted on it yet. Forgive me, this is the first time I've run a meeting, so I'm going to make a few mistakes. But Amanda, throw that up. Look at it real quick. If anybody has any objections to the agenda, throw your hand up. Otherwise, we're going to forge ahead. No objections? The ayes have it. Thank you. And Amanda, you just so happen to be next with a recap of the DuPage United action.
Well, thank you, Ed, and I will keep this brief. I would like to share with you a little bit about our action on the 27th in DuPage United. We also had a candidate action similar to the one that Fox River Valley had back in September. We had 5 candidates come representing 5 out of the 6 districts that we have in DuPage County. So we were very excited about that. So we met with them and we had breakout sessions and we talked about what they're interested in and also what their experience is with some of the NIMBY groups. And so at the end, when we wrapped it up, we asked them, would we have their support for affordable, accessible, and supportive housing in DuPage County? And every single candidate said yes. And we asked them, would they go visit 1212 Larkin? I think we should unmute and clap.
Yeah.
Woohoo! I know it's hard to get energy on the Zoom. I feel you. This was great news. So most of you, if not all of you, are familiar with 1212 Larkin and Elgin, which Fox River Valley has actively been working on, which is 48 units of affordable housing. And so what we want in DuPage County is one of these 1212 Largans in each of the 6 districts across DuPage County. And so we are actively working on setting up a date with Full Circle Communities, the developer, to go out and bring the candidates and some of our DuPage leaders to 1212 Largan. So thank you, Ed, for connecting me with Full Circle. And with that, I will pass on the meeting to the next person on the agenda, who I believe is Jamie Moser, for an update on mental health and criminal justice reform.
Well, I want to say first that the reason our big item tonight is to talk about these candidate actions that we're going to be having in January. Back in September, as I stated, we had an action with the 4 candidates, 2 candidates for county board chair and 2 for state's attorney in Kane County. Everyone agreed, all 4 candidates agreed to meet with us. Now it's time to fulfill that pledge. So going forward, we're going to have 2 separate actions, one for Corinne Pirog, who is the new county board chair. And we're going to approach Ms. Pirog about our work with affordable housing, affordable, accessible, supportive housing. Jamie Moser is the new state's attorney in Kane County. And we're going to approach her to talk about mental health and criminal justice reform. We had such a wonderful relationship with Joe McMahon, the previous state's attorney, and we're really hoping that Ms. Moser will continue that relationship with us. I was thinking about this meeting last night, and the United Power Action, they committed to building 1,000 homes on the west side of Chicago. The DuPage United Action, as Amanda just said, committed to affordable housing in all 8 districts. What is going to be our goal?
6.
That's something we're going to have to figure. 6, I'm sorry. Think big, Amanda. That's something we're going to have to decide going forward. And that's what we're going to have to talk about in our next steps. Jackie, did you want to add anything about the meeting with Jamie Moser?
Yeah, I thought Lori was going to talk, but what we need is I'm going to be chairing the Jamie Moser meeting, and I would like, and Lori's going to be doing Corinne Pirog. We would each like a team of people to work with us on the agenda and the presentations. So if anybody wants to be on the mental health team, send me a chat or an email. I'll put it up in the chat. And I think the same with Lori. We would just need to be able to get in touch with her so that she has a team for the county chairperson, and I will run the team for the state's attorney. So that's all I wanted to add to that, because we need to kind of get an agenda and decide, you know, exactly what our asks are going to be and how we're going to go about that meeting.
Thank you, Jackie. Carl King, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're going to supply a sign up, Genus, as we go along?
So the link for signing up is at the very top of your chat. It should be in there for everyone already. So if you go to the top of your chat box or chat bar, you'll see a Google form. It says forms.gle. Does everyone see that? So please go there, click on that. It's a way for us to formalize our information so that you can kind of put your name, your email address, all that stuff. I'll put it back in there for everyone, and you can just click on that through this meeting. Just click on the chat bar and click on that URL, and then you can sign up for whichever of these committees appeal to you, right, based on your interest.
Thank you, Carl. Yeah, Lori wasn't able to make it tonight, so I'll speak for just 20 or 30 seconds. Our agenda for the things we need to be planning in the weeks that are coming up for the affordable housing meeting with Corinne Pirog, we're going to have a planning session. We really don't even have our goals set yet, as I said earlier. We're going to need an agenda to be made. We're going to have a pre-meeting. We're going to have a rehearsal. We're going to have to figure out what our presentation is going to be. I can't do that all by myself. Lori can't do that all by herself. So we're going to need your help. And if you're interested in that or some of the other things that we'll be talking about for the rest of the evening, please sign up in that sign up sheet. Because I don't want to call everybody on this Zoom call tonight, although I will if I have to. So appreciate your help with that. So moving on from that, Carl King is going to give us a little talk about mental health and where we stand with that. Carl?
Hey, everybody. So you heard a little bit about kind of some of the work that we've been doing specifically with the state's state senator, the chair, president of the Illinois State Senate, Don Harmon, and some of the asks that we've had. We did get a response from him and not the mayor, but a few of the others with the Elgin Mental Health Center. And so there was a response from that, and they are working on kind of what the next step should be. So there's movement on there, and they're actually trying to find ways to reduce the amount of stay to 90 days, I think it was, Greg.
Correct.
You all can correct me if I'm wrong here, but they're trying to reduce that 1 year window that was mentioned to 90 days maximum, also to be more actionable rather than just kind of allowing people to languish in that facility. Also, we've been working around CIT. Jackie Baker mentioned CIT training, crisis intervention team training. And this, the principle is to have police officers trained on both empathy as well as ways to de-escalate a situation, right? If you're dealing with someone that is experiencing a mental health crisis, the worst thing that you can do is to aggressively react to them in their duress. And so this is a 40-hour, basically a class taught by professionals. And we've done a lot of work as an organization across our 4 affiliates to expand the training. But now we're trying to codify the data. So we've had around 2,300 officers in the Illinois area trained in crisis intervention team training. However, in order to ascertain whether this has been effective or not, and to move forward on just kind of expanding that to where it's basically an expected thing, we've reached out to an organization called ICJIA. ICJIA, it's you can go to icjia.org, I believe it is, and look at some of their information. But they have agreed to meet with us, and so we've assembled a team of individuals from our 4 affiliates, the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority. And so what they do is they specifically work on research and data collection. Some of our challenges have been reaching out to individual police departments, individual sheriff's departments. We're dealing with 50 per affiliate. You can imagine the challenge just in emails, right, and phone calls. So rather than us expending all of that energy, because one of the questions we ask as organizers is, does this strengthen and build our power, or does this leave us depleted? And this is kind of a life-giving question for all of us, right? Are we stronger and better for what we're doing and the way that we're doing it, or are we more exhausted? Does this make us want to do more of this work, or does this make us want to quit? And so the latter has been the answer when it comes to reaching out to 500 different police departments and asking them for data. Have you given your teams CIT training? Have they been effective? Have they then been activated, right? Are they being sent out when 911 calls come in rather than other officers that haven't been trained? So we're reaching out to ICJIA. They have agreed to a meeting with us around January, I believe the 13th is what so we're taking a team across all 4 affiliates. We're really excited about this because this could, they get grants and things from the Illinois state level. And so because they have this capacity, it would allow us then to do better work. There's a lot more we could talk about when it comes to that, but I want to also bring up, we're at number 4, right? I just want to clarify. Okay, very good. Yeah, and I'm going to put in the chat bar, I'm going to put the links for that sign up sheet, and you can click on that while I'm droning on and on. At least that's what it feels like for me. Yeah, so one of the things that we have experienced is 1212 Larkin has been mentioned a few times. And it's a facility that was hard fought in Elgin. About 48 units of supportive, affordable housing were created that were community-based and that allowed people in the community that were working, but that could not afford 100%. Basically, they couldn't afford to pay 50% of their income towards rent. But they were, for instance, Starbucks baristas or EMTs or what have you, right? So they have a living wage, but they just can't afford the high level of income. This structure was created for to integrate them into our community, right? These are people we interact with every day. And so rather than them being required to drive an hour in to the city to work with us, around us, it just makes sense. They're already a part of our community. And so that process was at least a 5-year process. We're working on the same thing in Waukegan, which has been mentioned. We're working on similar things in South Chicago, West Chicago. We're working on something like that in Libertyville. We just got a tremendous email today from a very influential church in Libertyville that feels that it's their calling, their mission to make that a part of their work, to work with us in supporting an opportunity in Libertyville. But these kind of opportunities, they take a long time to materialize and to work towards. We have I guess an opportunity in St. Charles. A few months ago, I began meeting with Mayor Rogina about IYC St. Charles and kind of our responsibility to the young men out there at that facility. Most of you know what that is. It's a youth incarceration, youth detention center. As we began to assess it, one of the things that was I guess I'm trying to shorten this. It's a lot going on, but I'm trying to simplify it. Long story short, we got a number of individuals in the room that were decision makers, including the head of the Juvenile Justice Department for Illinois, their chief of staff, State Senator DeWitt, who's in St. Charles, House Rep Anna Mueller, and Elizabeth Flood, who's a judge, just was elected, as well as Chief Judge Clint Hull, who is over the juvenile system. From that conversation, one of the things that came out was that there is going to be something that happens with IYC St. Charles. There are 3 options on the table. One is that it loses its funding and is completely closed down. Another option is that it turns into a men's facility in St. Charles, which that's an option, right? So that's on the table. I'm sure many recoiled as they heard that, but that is one of the things that they're considering. So turning that into, I guess, a medium or minimum security men's prison. And the other option is that it already butts up against Hickory Knolls. And so the Park District would take a portion of it, split it off. Then the other portion would be kind of in play. And we could dream and envision some things. Maybe we could do affordable housing. Maybe we could do some supportive job type stuff. There's multiple opportunities and options. But it's something that I think if we can begin to dream about, we could possibly preempt specifically the men's prison portion of that becoming a reality. But it would require us to form a committee and to begin to think in those directions. So if you're interested in thinking about that, dreaming about that, maybe being on a committee to think about some of those things, use that link in the chat, click on that, and yeah, and you can identify that as a desire of yours.
Thanks, Carl. We're doing real well on time, so I'd like to ask Laura Graff from St. Charles Episcopal to speak just for a couple minutes about the Do Not Stand Idly By campaign. That's something we've been working on in the past and will continue to do so going forward. Laura?
I was filling out the survey there. Do Not Stand Idly By is a campaign to use market forces to improve gun safety. It's not about gun control. And to pursue that, there's a national effort to have police departments and sheriff departments test various models of, hold on, my dog is chewing that blanket. Sorry about that interruption. A national effort to recruit police departments and sheriff's departments to test various types of gun locks that would make it difficult for them to be stolen or misused. The thinking is that these are primarily for use by consumers, but police have the most familiarity with them. Kane County Sheriff Ron Hain was the first to sign up for that and has been involved in the first round of testing. There are at least 2 additional rounds of testing coming as we explore different types of gun locks and guns that are biometrically controlled so that they can't be fired unless your fingerprint or somebody who's authorized fingerprint matches. Sheriff Hain has reached out to the Elgin Police Chief for us, and we're going to be trying to set up a meeting with her in the new year. There's also a regional group that meets once a month or so in the evening. The national meetings are in the mornings. See, I haven't looped you in on that, but we can talk about whether you want to be involved in that or if anybody else would like to be involved. That's it. I can't hear you, Ed. You're muted.
Thanks. Thank you, Laura. If you look up that sign-up sheet that Carl has posted, Do Not Stand Idly By is also one of the issues that we're looking for help with. You know, there's one more that I'd like to bring up. I know we're throwing a lot of information at everybody tonight, but social media, no matter what we think about social media, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't like it. It's probably here to stay in some way, shape, or form, and it could be a powerful tool for us moving forward as organizers. We don't have a social media platform right now. There's a lot of social media types. There's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's YouTube, there's website that we have a website, there's Zoom. You know, they threw me the keys to the Twitter account and I have no clue how to use it. So we're looking for a few people just to start a discussion. We're not going to solve this issue immediately, but we can start to plan to move ahead. We could figure out what kind of groups of people use the different types of media and figure out where to go to attract those people. Bill Kale, Scott Douglas, and Linda Moran have already volunteered to just be part of that discussion. And if it's something that you'd like to participate in, you can sign up for that as well. So that's all I'll say about social media. Greg Pierce is going to talk for a few minutes about finances and fundraising. Greg?
I got thrown off on my own Zoom meeting. I had to go over into my wife's computer, so here I am. I missed a little bit. I just wanted to give a quick overview, especially for the newer people. A couple things about Fox River Valley Initiative that makes it different. First is it's made up of institutions like yours. So when you introduced yourself tonight, all of you introduced yourself as being from an institution. Individuals, and we have 2 people here as guests today that are from a library. And that is also an institution. We're not just talking about churches or religious institutions. We have several members that are not religious institutions, but are other institutions. But we don't have individual membership. And why is that? It's because we're trying to build enough power to actually make a difference. It's too hard to do it one at a time. And so we really work hard to get institutions to the power that they already have and build it together with other institutions to actually get things done. That's if there's a basic idea behind Fox River Valley Initiative, that's it, and DuPage United. The other thing we do is we're totally and kind of I call it fiercely nonpartisan. So all of you voted, all of you have had special candidates that you liked. Some of you are Democrats, some of you are Republicans, some of you are independents. We don't bring that into Fox River Valley Initiative. What we do is hold politicians accountable no matter which party they're from, or no party. And so the actions you talked about earlier that both DuPage United and Fox River Valley took this year was not to endorse a candidate, rather to find out if the candidates, if they won, were willing to work with us. And so that's why we have actions now coming up with those who said yes. By the way, we should also go back to the people who said yes, didn't win, because they may also be able to help us. So all of that says, well, where does the money for this organization come from, and what is it used for? Well, the first is that the money never comes from the government. We just don't take any money from the government because, and it's not that the government shouldn't spend money on good things, but they shouldn't spend money on groups like ours, because then we're compromised about whether we can hold them accountable or not. We do take some money from foundations and other individuals that donate, but we do not take money from the government ever. And that's why your institutions pay dues. Most of our money comes from dues. And it comes from dues from your organizations. And so if you want to build power in Kane County, you have to go from the, I don't know, 18 or 20 institutions that are now members of Fox River Valley Initiative, and you have to double that. We don't have any institutions, for example, from Aurora, which is in Kane County. We don't have enough institutions from any one place. And so how do we get those institutions? Well, the first thing we do is we hire a couple of good, smart organizers. And there's 3 of them on the call today. One is working exclusively right now in DuPage County. That's Amanda. Carl is working in all 4 counties. And Ed is working specifically in Kane County right now. And then I'm supervising all of them and trying to teach them and trying to help them get this thing organized. Here's the key. This is why Ed made such a big deal about how he shouldn't be running the meeting earlier tonight. This is not their organization. It's your organizations. And their job and my job is to teach leaders like you how to organize inside your own institutions and then in your own communities. That's our job. If we're not doing that job, it doesn't matter how many victories we get or how many wins we have. There won't be an organization there at the end. I want to talk just very briefly about 2 things. One is actions. We talked about, we call them actions. I don't know if you come up with a better word, let me know. It covers any kind of a meeting that we have. Even tonight's an action. In a way, it's an internal action. When you meet with your new officials, it's an action. When you met with them before the election, that was an action. When we met with State Senator Harmon with 500 people on a Zoom, that was an action. And so there's 2 reasons why you should want to come to these actions. Participate in them, lead them. The first is the people you're meeting with. If you want the kind of relationships that you talked about in your introductions, the words you used, they've got to know who you are. You're not just going to solve some problems with them. You're going to establish a relationship of mutual respect, where they know who you are, you know who they are, and we use the 3 R's. We call it recognition, respect, and results. So you've already won recognition from the two new county officials you have. They know who you are. Somebody says Fox River Valley Initiative, they'll say, oh yeah, I met with them. I'm going to have another meeting with them. I know who they are. That's not necessarily respect. They may know who you are, but they don't really respect you, or they think you're one more group among many, or they think that you're just a problem to be solved or a group to be, assuaged. And so you've got to fight for respect from them. And one of the ways you get respect from politicians, is that me? Okay. One of the ways you get respect from politicians, oh, this is bad. I'm hearing a big echo. Are you? I don't know what to do
Joe,
about
can
it.
you mute yourself?
Try it again.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
should mute myself.
No, you're fine
Then how
now.
do I-
You're fine now. No.
Okay, all right.
Jill is unmuted and
Sorry.
box is
Sometimes,
lighting up.
sometimes you have to shut off your video to do this. Where was I? Oh, they need to see your power. So when we met with the new president of the state Senate, we had 20 people in a room. We had 500 people on a Zoom with them. And we kind of filmed it in a way, or not filmed it, but had the meeting in a way where the 500 people could watch what was going on live in the room. And then the people in the room could see the people that were watching. And one of the interesting things to me, we had never done an action like that. We actually did it. We were at Dominican University, even though people were all over the 4-county area. But one of the things that really struck me is at the very end of the meeting. All right. I'm going to turn off my video. Is this any better?
Try it
Better?
again.
Is it better?
Yeah.
All right, let me talk without my face in your face. State senator, who's the third highest ranking official in the state of Illinois, next to the governor and the head of the state House of Representatives, is new. I mean, he's been in the Senate for a while, but he's the new president. And he, as you heard from Jackie's good report, he was very cooperative. He's produced. He not only recognizes us, he respects us, and he's producing results already. That's the kind of relationship you want with somebody like him. At the very end of that thing, the Zoom master flipped through the pages like this. I don't know if you're looking at your gallery view, but 25 at a time, but she zipped through it real quick. And I noticed the state senator Harmon stopped whatever he was doing. I forget what, the meeting was over, but they were still flipping through this thing. He just didn't want to talk to anybody. He was looking at the screen. He wanted to really see if there were 500 people there. It wasn't enough time for him to notice any particular person. It was clear there were 500 people there. And so one of the reasons he's being so respectful and cooperative with us is because of those 500 people. So one reason you want to come to these actions, like tonight, or with the candidates, or the other actions that Carl's going to be organizing around mental illness, or around Laura's going to be organizing around guns, is to show your power to the people that can also help us make changes. There is a second reason. And that second reason is to build your own little organizations inside your institutions. We don't need one representative from each of the 18 member institutions. We need everybody in those institutions understanding that they're part of something bigger than themselves, and that they need to show that and support that by actually turning up and by paying their dues and by donating to the organization. And so that's why, that's the second reason, especially you new congregations, and welcome. You want to drag people, if you have to, some of these actions so they can experience what you're experiencing. tonight and what you will experience if you go to those actions and what you experienced. And we're doing all this on Zoom. It's going to be much better, hopefully, 6 months from now. Maybe we'll be able to all go to a meeting and talk to each other and talk to a politician or a public official. Well, that's really what I wanted to say tonight, is that it's really about organizing is really about training leaders. And one of the other things we're going to do in January and February is have 3 training sessions. You will all be open to. One will be a kind of an introductory training session. Other will be a training session on how to do good one-on-ones with one another, good relational meetings where you understand what makes the other person tick and whether you have anything in common. And then we're going to also do one on how to do a good power analysis. Because if you're going to take on any issues, you have to know who can be on your side and who might be against you. And you also have to know what power you have and what power you don't have. So that's really what I wanted to say. Thanks for your comment tonight. I hope I'm going to do the evaluation at the end. So if you stay for that, we'll have another chance to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. I'm going to close with something. We led off tonight talking about relationships with the candidates, relationships among our institutions. Well, relationships in organizing are critical. And I like to think of myself as accountable. So I'm going to put my email address in the chat room, and I'd like to hear from everybody. I'd like to do a one-on-one conversation with each and every one of you. If we've done one in the past, let's do another one or a third one. But I'm going to follow up too. I'm going to be try to get everybody's email addresses, and I'll reach out to you as well. Relationship building is important, and I think it helps if we all practice it. So I'm going to send out my email address. Please get a hold of me. I'd love to hear from you. That's really about it for tonight. We're doing great on time. We're actually done a little sooner. Greg, do you have anything to add, or Carl, before we do our evaluation? Carl?
Yeah, I want to say happy anniversary to Reverend Amy Pillar. And it's her anniversary tonight. So
thank you, Carl. Please.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Amy. And take a look one more time at that sign-up sheet. Put your name down for something. Put your name down for everything. We can't get the third R, as Greg described it. We can't get the results without everyone's help. So that's it for tonight. Greg, can you lead us?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
so
in our evaluation.
We're going to do 2 evaluations. First one's going to be 5 minutes. And I hope you'll all stay for that one. You'll be out of here at 8 o'clock. You want a little bit more of the evaluation, we're going to stay on the Zoom, and whoever stays on the Zoom will do about another 10 or 15 minutes. Why do we do evaluations? We do evaluations for the same reason that we had a pre-meeting for this meeting. We had a meeting on Tuesday night, by Zoom, with 5 or 6 of us. We planned this meeting. And then we had the meeting. We had an agenda, and you all approved the agenda, and we went through the agenda. Now we're going to have an evaluation because this was an action. And here's the first question that I'm going to ask you. And you're going to raise your hand. You're going to do this. Okay, I think I know the answers, but this is why we do it. This means this action tonight, 1 hour. What do we have, about 3, 4, 5 people? 35, a little more. This action of Fox River Valley Initiative, to build the organization, to build your power as an organization, and also to build your power as institutions that make up the organization. So think about it for a minute. When you're ready, I'm going to count to 3, and you're either going to go with the organization. I don't really think it did. It's okay. Either way, we're not gonna count the votes, but we want to see how you think about it, and mostly we want you to think about it. So think about it, and if everybody's ready, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and you're either going to say it built the organization or not so much. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Good. We even got Susan with the, oh, we got several people with the thumbs up. All right. And not, did anybody do not? Those are usually the best comments, the ones that didn't think it did. So now we got that. And the question that you should think about as you leave here tonight, why did it build the organization, or how did it build the organization? And talk among yourselves, do one-on-ones with one another, join a committee, get involved in it. Okay. So I'm going to ask people that got questions or comments, stay. And we'll go on for another 15 minutes. But you don't have to stay. But I do want you to know why we do this. We do it because we're trying to learn how to do it better. We're always trying to say, what did we do well? What should we do the next time that's exactly the same? And then what other things could we do better? And a lot of the discussion lately has been around Zoom. You know, should we have broken down into smaller groups? Should we have had a different way of doing things? Should the agenda have been different? So leadership training, if you want to know, if people in your congregation say, well, what do we pay those dues to do the Fox River Valley Initiative for? The first answer you should say is leadership training. And the leadership training is formal, like our evaluations, and it's informal, what we do one-to-one with one another. And it's also our training session. So I want you all to, you'll get this soon, you know, when the training sessions are, but it'll be probably 3 evenings in January, February. You should come to them. And not only should you come to them, you should recruit other people to come to them. Because you need other people in your congregations if this is going to work. All right, so I think, Ed, you ready to call the meeting adjourned and then ask people who want to leave to welcome to leave, and then the rest of us will stay.
All right, can we get a vote to adjourn the meeting? Everybody in favor? It's adjourned. Stick around for a further evaluation if you so desire. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, so I've got 8 o'clock. You will be out of here by 8:15. All right. One of the things I've learned about doing actions on Zoom is that more people stay for the evaluation than before. It's interesting to me. You know, when we had the meetings live, people would be running around. You want to stay for the evaluation. Sometimes we just have a few people. When you do it this way, people got the time, and if it was a good meeting or a bad meeting, they will stay to evaluate it. And that's another positive thing. So I'm going to ask you to do a couple things. Unless you've got a barking dog or a crying baby, unmute. Now, I will call on people because otherwise nobody speaks up. So in order to get me to call on you, or Ed will call on you if I don't see you, is raise your hand. You can either do your own hand or you can do the computer's hand. I don't care. Now, here's the question that I always like to ask after a meeting, especially with a lot of new people. Although I'm looking around, there's not that many new people that stayed. Isn't that interesting? They don't feel invited yet. I mean, they don't really think that they were invited. And so that's how you bring people in, is you make sure that they part of the planning, part of the action, part of the evaluation, so that the reason you're all here is because this is your organization. You own it.
Right.
And so they don't feel that yet. So that's the process of organizing. building leaders, building teams, building relationships. So if this 1 hour meeting built the organization, the question I want to ask you is two things. Why did it build the organization? Or how did it build the organization? It's probably the same question. But think about it for a minute. When you're ready, raise your hand. Just tell us why. Okay, oh, you can start.
Volume, volume, volume.
What does that mean?
A lot of us. You got a lot of people here. You get to see
Okay,
a
so
lot of
the
people.
turnout itself helped, right? It made us feel better. Like, is anybody out there? And there are. And what else, besides the number, what else was it?
Diverse.
Diverse, and what else?
I was struck by.
Go ahead, John.
I was struck by the fact that the age range. We now, I saw a group of people that I think probably fall in the 30 to 50 age group. It
All
didn't feel quite as much like a retirement meeting.
Oh, it's a low blow, John.
Pardon me?
That's a low blow.
No, I'm going to be 80. I'm in that group.
All right. There's one other one that was huge to me. Out of the 35 people, how many, this was their first meeting, you think?
10?
Day 12.
Yeah.
10 at least.
I know all my people were new.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. And that shows, I'll tell you who that shows some good work is by your new organizers. They're pulling in new people. And that's what their job is. All right. Go ahead, Jackie.
So, question, in this Zoom world, which it looks like we're going to be in for a while still, when we had a meeting like this in Highland Avenue, physically in the church to learn about Fox River Valley Initiative and to really get going on 1212 and all that, and then people could have the after meetings, right, where you're helping new people learn, like I could go around and ask people questions, and we don't have that in the same way here. And so I was thinking, in this meeting, there were so many new people, and it was really like a leaders meeting. Here we are, here's where we're going. We hit the ground running, we do the things. How do we create space in the next 6 till we can really all start gathering and hanging out in church basements or wherever again? How do we create space for the welcoming folks in and creating that?
Okay, absolutely. We're learning every day. Let me respond, and then I'll ask other people to respond. I noticed that even at the beginning of this meeting, when people came in early, one of the things is people come in right on time now with Zoom, because they know they'll be there. So they don't have to get there early and park and get in and have a cup of coffee. They're there. So there's not a lot, but even ones that were there, I noticed myself talking most of the time before the meeting started. And what was I doing?
Building relationships.
Well, I was just small talking.
Yeah.
I was just small talking. I saw a couple whose name was Paschke. And I asked them if they were related to Ed Paschke. I have a painting by Ed Paschke right over there. I just thought it was interesting that their name was Paschke. It turned out they are related to him. So anyway, Jackie, what you're saying is absolutely right. It's a conscious effort, even to do small talk. And so maybe what you have to do is build it in more. One of the things we tried last week was the storytelling thing. We tried 2 times when we asked people just to come together and tell stories, not have a meeting. And we broke them up into smaller groups of 7, 8, 9 people. And we've done it twice. First time we had like, I don't know, 40 people in it. Oh no, maybe not that many. No, maybe 25. And this time we had about 15. And what matters is they break down into smaller groups. That's the first answer. And then my second answer is one-to-ones. You can't get away from you almost have to do more one-to-ones more now than we used to. because of what you just raised. So the good news is it's easier to do a one-on-one on Zoom than it is to drive 30 minutes to somebody's house or meet them at church. Now, it may be harder to do it in the sense of getting a relationship going, but from a logistics point of view, it's easier. So anybody else got any comments about what Becky's raising? Laura and then Reverend Stacy.
One of the suggestions I have is use the chat function to invite somebody to connect at another time or after the meeting. I found what you said really interesting. Would you have a few minutes to talk after this is over, or what time is convenient for you? Here's my phone number, email, whatever.
But Ed's been doing a lot of thinking about this. He's got a list of people that'll take a one-on-one with anybody who asks. It's automatic. Already signed up for it. And so people that are hesitant about calling somebody because they might get turned down, Ed's got a list for you of people that'll just talk to you. Another thing is, maybe we should have spent 3 minutes at the end with people just either by random or choose go and do a one-on-one if they wanted to. Maybe we could do something like that. I don't know. Where we do that for sure is in training. We really build it into our training things now. We have chat rooms at least 50% of the time in any training. These bigger group meetings are tough to relate. Stacy, did you have something?
Well, I was just thinking we could use the technology of Zoom to kind of create some situations where you would have a couple moments to small talk and then maybe exchange emails with those people or phone numbers and reach out and do one-on-ones later. Because you could just put together a certain number of breakout rooms and just randomly assign people, 2 to 4 to a room, and give folks a chance to connect that way, and then have the opportunity to continue with the networking conversation one-to-ones later.
When
it would make it kind of interesting. It would be kind of like, ooh, that was something kind of fun and interesting. Give everybody a chance to talk at the meeting, even though you're not talking in the whole big group.
You know what? Let's do an experiment right now. Amanda, you ready? We're going to send it. We're going to send. Oh, we don't. No, we probably can't do it. You have to set up the breakout rooms ahead of time, don't you?
No, I can do it on the spot.
Not too hard.
How many rooms would you like?
This is. I want. Here's what I want. 1 minute. Okay. As soon as you get to the other room with somebody, you've got 1 minute. Here's the question. First person goes for 30 seconds. 1 minute. Tells other person something about your name.
Okay.
Anything about your name. We got 1 minute, but at the end of 1 minute, you've got to stop. And then the other person gets 1 minute to tell you something about their name.
About the name or our day?
Your name.
Name. N-A-M-E.
Your name. So I'm going to tell you, whoever I get in with, I'm going to tell how I got the Augustine in my name. So, okay. So, Amanda, we got what do we got? 12, 13, 14, 15. Leave me out. Oh, you didn't. Okay. Well,
we don't have an even number. I had to include you.
Put 3 in one room. Put 3 in one room. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
Well, you're already in with somebody, Greg.
All right.
I can't undo that now.
Where's 6?
It'll pop up, Jill. It'll pop up and say where you're supposed to go there, and maybe you're with me, or oh no, it looks like you are still supposed to join breakout room 6. You should have something on your screen that will say join.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No problem.
We're the only ones that left the room.
Well, we'll come back. They will. You know, people are finishing up. We did it quickly because we're pros at this. You watch, they'll all come back in about, she'll shut down the room. They'll have to come back.
Yeah, I do this on Sunday for Sunday school.
Yeah, very cool.
Put the high school kids in one room and elementary kids in a different room. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'll have to tell Amanda to end the, she should have known. This was at the last minute. There we go. Maybe I don't have to say. All right, did you close it down, Amanda?
It's closed down. Everybody's got to come back now and click the button on their screen.
All right.
Maybe people are really invested in an amazing conversation, so they didn't want to jump back.
Well, that's a good.
Well, everybody's favorite topic is themselves, you know.
Yes, that's why we started. I stole that from the woman who did some exercises for us when we did the storytelling, and she did 4 of them. The second one was, what did you have for breakfast? And I forget the third and the fourth ones, but they were all 1 minute. And boy, it really made that storytelling. Then we broke up into rooms of 6 or 8 tell stories with each other. And so I just thought I would try an experiment on this. I knew I had my ace master here.
Love it.
So I guess I did that. I did it partly just on a whim, but mainly I did it to say we just have to experiment. We just have to experiment with how to make these meetings more interesting. And if we'd have done this in that other meeting, would it have made it a better meeting?
It would be too many people, I think, wouldn't it?
It would what?
Wouldn't there have been too many people?
No.
No.
We can
No,
do as
you don't
many.
think so?
No, we can do as many. That's Stacy.
Well, I was just going to suggest we could have used the time where we were doing the rounds. We could have done rounds in the chat.
Yeah.
We could have done rounds in the chat function, and we could have taken that, whatever that was, 10 minutes or so, and done breakout rooms.
Yes.
So I wouldn't have thought of that until we just lived through that experience. But I think that going forward, when you get more than this many people, you might as well just introduce yourselves and do the one word in the chat.
Okay. Or maybe not do the one word, do this instead, and do a little like a mini relational meeting or storytelling meeting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
whatever.
Yeah, I think that would be better.
Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
I want to just share real quick. I think these one-on-one, the little 1 minute deal like we just did, they lead to productive one-to-one conversations. I had a wonderful conversation with Rob English because of the 1 minute story that we told each other. Yeah.
So my main thing, and this I want to add because I promised you I'd get you out of here, and I'm probably over, not too bad. The whole point of evaluation is not just to say, congratulations, you did a great job. It's not that. It's try to figure out what did we do that went well? What could we have done that we might have done a little better? And the other thing, I just want to end with one word: fun.
Yes.
I think more than anything else, at least for me, I'm missing fun.
Yeah.
And so, if we can build fun somehow into our culture, and so let's just think about that. Let's go home and think about that. Everybody set up a one-on-one with Ed. He doesn't have anything to do.
Don't say go home. We already are home, Greg.
Yeah, you already are home.
That was fast.
Here's the good thing. Yeah, here's the good thing for me is I don't have to drive 45 minutes to get home either.
That's right.
Right. All right.
Before
Hey,
you
everybody.
close.
All right. That's
Greg,
cute.
I was not able
One
to.
thing
I was
I
not
would
able.
like to suggest is that it was
What?
distracting for me to get the direction to go fill out this Google form while
Okay,
the meeting is going on.
good point.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
I
good
couldn't
point.
open it. I could not open it.
You couldn't even open it. Oh, that's bad. All right. Thanks
I
for
was
mentioning
able-
that.
Why do
I
we
was
have a
able to
little
put
mouse
my
on the
email.
screen?
I don't know.
I don't know who that is.
Bill Kale did that.
I commandeered it. That's a pygmy possum that was rescued from the Australian fires.
Oh, how
Maybe-
nice.
Now, maybe we
It's
have to have
famous on
a,
the internet now, that particular one.
Jill, give me your email address.
Hey, to that point, I did want to point out that we didn't have any graphic aids, and that might be something that we would want to incorporate, some type of pictures or something. I didn't get to share my screen. I had some stuff, images of like the St. Charles IYC, I think, which would help the visual aid to help others. And I think something we could be intentional about in the future is having some type of closed captioning on the bottom. They do that automatically through Zoom. And so for disability aids, I think that's important that we are intentional about that going forward.
There's
Jackie?
also, isn't there translation you can do or something?
Yes.
That would be something to look into as well.
All right, Jackie, you had your hand raised.
Do we have the email addresses of everybody that's here?
Yes.
Yes? Can
You had
we
those, right?
Can we send those out if nobody minds? Because Jill, that way I can contact you about the mental health team.
Yeah, I was on Greg's email.
All right. All
We'll
right.
send it to me.
That's true.
Scott, all right. I've never had an evaluation where people didn't want to go home, but go ahead, John. What do you got?
Is St. Mark's Episcopal Church becoming a member, or are they just checking out Fox River Valley Initiative? Who knows the answer to that?
Carl knows.
Carl knows the answer.
Yeah, if Lucia's gotten with them, they were waiting to write a check. So they are members.
Wonderful.
Huh?
Wonderful.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
If anybody needs anybody else's email address, just contact me. I've got most everybody's. I will share.
And you're home safely, Ed?
I'm running on fumes right now, but I'm home. We
All
are
right.
home.
I think Ed might be ready to hit the end button.
All right, thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Have a Merry Christmas if we don't
Merry
talk.
Christmas, y'all. Happy holidays.
Greg, you need me or no?
Yes,
Take
just
care.
for 1 minute.
Happy Hanukkah.
Bye-bye.
Carl, stay on if you can. Amanda. Okay.
Bye.
All right. So I recommend also that any staff people that are on an action, just assume that you should just stay on. I don't want to make a big deal about it. You know what I mean? If there's any little thing that we want to say to each other, even if it's a critique or something that we might not want to say in front of the leaders. Or,
Great job, Ed. Great job.
Thank you very
man.
much.
Yes, it was.
Survived.
You guys were all there to help too.
Well,
What a great team.
you know, the thing about organizing, and that's all I want to say, is it's really hard work. It's the hardest job I've ever done. It's the hardest job I've ever seen people do. A lot of reasons. It's also not, it's not brain surgery. You know, there's just certain things that if you do them, they work. Like one-on-one relational meetings. If you just do them enough, they work. If you just learn how to do power analysis, all these things that we teach. I'm not saying it's not, just if you keep at it, that's what I'm trying to encourage the three of you. If you keep at it, it actually works. And you could see it tonight. You know, 35 people, midst of a pandemic. I just got off the road from, 3,000 miles away. It works. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You should get better all the time, but it worked. So it was it built the organization. That's the only criteria that you really need to meet every time. Okay, everybody good?
Everybody's good.
All right, Merry Christmas if I don't talk to you.
You as
Merry
well.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm done.
All right, bye.
See you
I
tomorrow.
made sure I was the host. I didn't want to hit end yet. All right.
No,
Have a
you
good
were
night.
right. You were right. We'll talk about that other thing. I think I've got it all figured out now. It depends on, what you and Pash want to do and if we can accommodate you. Okay?
That's fine. We can check in tomorrow.
Yeah, but read that. I sent you tonight.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.